Hi, everybody. Just wait a few minutes just to make sure everything's okay. Here we go. Hi, everybody. I'm gonna give everybody a second to kind of pop on. It's a nice sunny Monday, and I'm excited to do our first day of Seller Bootcamp. Very exciting. Again, just take a couple more minutes. Couple things I shared in the description, but if you're interested in learning more, or if you missed part of this and you'd like a replay, please feel free to just comment on the post, or you can always DM me, or you can email me at laurenmastracco@howardhanna.com. So we'll just wait a couple more minutes, see if we get anybody joining us. I'm really excited to do this series on selling your home, Seller Bootcamp, because I think that we all see these great pictures online of houses, and it's sometimes really daunting to think about how you actually get there. How do you prepare for that? How do you get excited about selling your house? Or what if you need to sell your house? What if you had a job change, or your family is growing and you need more space, or you need to downsize? That's another thing, or right size, as we like to call it. So I'll just go ahead and get started, and hopefully people will join us as we get a little bit further along. So a couple of things that I like to talk about when I'm first starting with people who are hoping to sell is talking to them about what their needs are in terms of, why are you selling? How quickly do you need to move? What happens if your house doesn't sell? All of these are because it can really change up your strategy as you're listing your home. There's really more that goes into it than just popping it on the internet and hoping that it sells and just picking kind of a random price. We're going to go into a lot of those details this week. So join me every day at noon, right here live on my page. We'll have all the replays going, but that's really the first place that I start with my clients, is what happens next. And a lot of times that's actually the best place to start. One of the big questions that we're getting right now is, what if I need to buy something else before I sell my home? And what's great is that not only are we able to, work with those dates and make sure that we're paying attention to, when you need to get into a new home, but Howard Hanna also has this great program called Buy Before You Sell, which allows you to use some of the equity that you have in your home, utilize it to make a down payment on a new home, so that you can feel really comfortable and secure about where you're going. That's a really huge concern, especially given the market right now. We are in a seller's market, and so for just as amazing as that is for anybody who might want to sell, and that you can get top dollar, it also means that it can be a little bit more complicated figuring out where you're going next. So mortgage programs like that can be really a huge asset when you're making your decision. And another reason why you would consider going with a Howard Hanna agent is so you could take advantage of that program. Another thing that I like to talk about is, the timing of where you need to go. Is it that you're moving out of state? That makes a big difference. How do we line up the closing of one house so that you have the money to utilize for the next one? Are you starting a new job? Is it a more urgent need because a lot of times somebody may have um, a health need that requires them to right size their home or have single floor living, or your family's growing, an exciting time to be selling your home. There's so many reasons why somebody may entertain the thought of selling. And so really being clear with that, clear with your intentions and what your needs are with an agent is really important when you're getting started on selling. Another thing that I think is really intimidating when you're starting the selling process is working with an agent and kind of understanding how that process works and what you get from working with an agent as opposed to if you were to sell on your own. A lot of people think that you just pop it on the internet, you get a couple people come through, you take your highest offer, and there you go. But there are so many benefits to working with an agent. And in the long run, you really end up, having a better experience many times because you're working with a professional, you're working with someone who does this day in and day out and is able to explain all the, all the ins and outs and kind of the odd things that may happen in a transaction. I mean, this is what we do every day. But we also provide sort of a legitimacy to your home. And so, especially for other buyers out there who are thinking, hey, here's this top agent, we see they're successful, they're backed by a name, that gives a buyer a lot of confidence when they're making a purchase. And so really thinking about what the buyer, what their perspective is. So yes, there's always the thought, oh, I'm going to save some commission money. Well, are you really saving it if, you're not pairing up with a great buyer? Maybe there are some struggles in the transaction. All of those things can be like really smoothed out by working with an agent. So typically, when you work with an agent, there is a commission that you pay for that agent's services. So that's some sort of percentage, somewhere between somewhere around 5 to 7% is the commission. But what does that mean? That sounds like a big number, but when you really break it down, where is that money going? Who's getting it? What does it pay for? When you work with an agent, every agent is different, but when you work with me specifically, I provide professional marketing, professional photos, virtual walkthroughs. I know we've got a couple people joining us. If you've missed some of the beginning, don't worry, we'll repost this. If you have questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. Be happy to answer any questions as I go. So again, you're paying a commission, and what you get from that is the marketing. So I provide those photos. I pay for those photos. I pay for video. I pay for all of the social media advertising and the posting and all those pieces that really go out of my pocket as part of my commission. Another thing that you're paying for is the knowledge that comes with working with a professional. And so as an agent, you really, you understand the process. You are able to guide your clients through the process to ensure that not only are they getting top dollar because their house is priced correctly, but also that they're working with a legitimate buyer, that the transaction is going to be something that's smooth to negotiate on their behalf. That's a really important thing too. When you're working with say is there to represent the buyer, and so to not have someone representing you is really a disservice to yourself and to your home. So in order to make sure you're really getting top dollar, that's one of the ways that paying that agent commission can really benefit you down the line. Another thing is the connections. I know for us, our Howard Hanna Rocky River office is #1 office this year, so super exciting about that. But also we have 160 agents, and so just in our office alone, that networking opportunity to pair you with another highly qualified buyer, or the chances of having that happen are so high that it really, it's more like matchmaking off the market, and that can be a really great way, especially during these times with COVID, to make sure that you feel safe, and that you don't have to have a million people coming in and out of your home. That can be really difficult if you have pets, if you're working from home, and so really making sure that not only are you getting qualified buyers in, but you're getting serious buyers in. We don't want the whole neighborhood to come through your house just because they're curious. And so really making those connections to really qualified buyers is something that I pride myself on. And in addition, not only to buyers and other agents, professionals that help throughout the process. You're going to need a title company. You're going to need inspectors. There could be contractor needs, either in preparing for your house to go on the market or in the through the transaction process. So really making sure that then you can connect with those really qualified professionals to just help make the process go a little bit smoother. Obviously, I've talked about this, the professionalism. Buyers take you more seriously when there is an agent that's representing your home. It can be a little daunting. A lot of buyers don't understand the process, and so as an agent, you have the opportunity to really make sure that you're providing a legitimate professional experience, which I think is a little bit more appealing to most buyers. And then, lastly, I think in terms of helping with the process, there's a lot of moving parts, and these are legal documents that we are trained to work through and to understand. And so we, really ensure that you're staying within your contract, that all the dates line up, that we have all the paperwork together, that we are, really keeping everything in line, especially if you're working with an agent to purchase another home. A major financial decision. This is actually likely your largest asset. And so that's not something you really want to mess around with in terms of getting money where it needs to be. And so just having somebody who understands the transaction, who understands the process, can stay organized and can really make sure that everything goes where it needs to go, and can deal with the lender, and can deal with the title company, and can deal with a buyer's agent, or in many cases with two different parties because you're purchasing a home. That's really a benefit to you to working with an agent. As part of that, we talked about commission 6%, say we use that number. Not all of that goes directly to your list agent. So about half of that typically goes to pay for a buyer's agent. When you buy a home, you don't actually pay for your agent to represent you. The seller pays that commission. So as an agent, I would offer a buyer's agent commission that would entice agents to bring a buyer to me. That's something that a lot of times, even as this first, it really comes down to it. How much more are you actually paying if you're going to pay a buyer's agent commission, you're going to pay for photos, you're going to pay to advertise your home, and all the hassle, all the showings, there's so many things that go into listing your home. And I'm excited we're going to get to talk a little bit about that each day this week, but knowing what you're paying for, what you're getting, what the advantages to working with a professional can really be helpful as you are as you're getting started in the process of buying your home, or selling your home rather. and buying your home as well. I think really to think about, you know, this is a huge transaction. It's a huge deal, and so having an agent that you feel comfortable with, that you feel is going to have your best interest in mind, who's going to provide you with all the insight, that experience is really invaluable. So please, as I mentioned, if you're just joining us, if you missed part of this, we're going to put the replay on the Lauren Mastracco Team Facebook page. We'll probably cross-post it over on Instagram as well. If you have any questions, I put into the information, but please feel free to comment, direct message me, or you can even send me an email at laurenmastracco@howardhanna.com. This week we'll be talking about, tomorrow at noon, we'll be back on again. We'll be talking about preparing your home for selling. So staging, things like that. So if that's something you're interested in, remember, mark your calendar, pop back on at noon tomorrow. And thanks for joining me today. It was so fun. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks.